So this is where the magic happens. You can edit that out, but I thought that was kind of funny. This can go in my outtakes reel.
Right.
Okay. So I was at work yesterday and I was talking with a colleague of mine, and he was talking about a family member who had come across something online that really upset her. It was medical information, medical writing. I'm not even going to say it was medical information, but it looked like it had come from a really credible source and it really upset her. I don't need the details for this discussion, but it really got me thinking about how it is increasingly important for people to understand how to determine if medical information online is accurate. There are a couple simple things that you can do to help you assess if the information that you're looking at online is accurate or is relaying a bias. Normally I like to write. I would take to the keyboard and write this stuff, but I think that it's much more effective to show you visually what I'm talking about. One thing that I like to tell teens and adults alike is that if you're looking for information online, I think it's much better to know a couple good websites to start with and look for your information there rather than just to plug a search term into a Google bar. Nothing against Google, but so many things can come up with the search results that sometimes it's hard to assess what is relevant or accurate or unbiased for your needs. For instance, say you have a health question and you want to go online and look for some health information. This is a pretty common practice. Essentially everybody does it. There are a couple key things that you should look for when you hit on a website, or if you see an article come through on your social media feed and you click on it and you want to figure out, is that article or piece of information accurate? All right, so when you're looking at a website, you want to determine, is it accurate? Who's the authority? Who's the background? What's behind the website? Is it up to date? And is there bias? Most websites have some sort of bias, and that's okay. You just need to know what that bias is before you interpret the information that you come across. So let's start with who's the authority behind a website. When you get onto a website, you want to take a look. Who's writing the content? So for instance, can you figure out where they went to medical school? They should probably say where they went to medical school, or you'd be able to find other information online determining what their academic credentials are. You may be able to find where they did their residency training if they went to a traditional medical school and then did a residency program. Are they board certified in their specialty? Sometimes a website is run by an organization and has multiple contributors, and that's fine too. But you can look at things like the mission statement, you can look at what the goals of the website are or what the goals of the organization are. You can look at who are the advisors, you can look at who are the authors. Sometimes individual pieces of content will have an author after it with their credentials. These are all ways that you can determine who is behind the content that you're looking at. Knowing who's behind a website can help you determine if the content is accurate, but there are other things you can look at too. You can look to see if there's any references that are cited to back up the statements that are made on the website. Look at the links that the website will send you to if they're cross-referencing other resources. Look at things like that. You want to make sure the information is up to date. Medical information changes very rapidly, and one recommendation that may be out there 10 years ago, new research and information may come and upend that. And that's not that medicine can't figure out what's going on, it's that medicine is a constantly growing field. So it's important to make sure that you're accessing up-to-date information. One of the biggest concerns I have is around bias behind a website. So a lot of times when I talk to young people and they tell me how do they determine if a health website is accurate, they'll say, well, I don't like to go to a .com, but I'll trust a .org or a .edu or a .gov sort of website. I think that this is great to hear that young people are critical about the websites that they're coming across online. I do want to caution you that not all .coms are necessarily evil and trying to sell you something, and not all .orgs are neutral and unbiased. So let's talk a little bit about how you can assess bias. A big thing you need to determine when you land on a website or some health information is there any bias? So I think the best way to do this is to figure out what is the goal of the website. Some websites or organizations, their mission or function is to share information, to answer questions, to direct you to resources that can help you with a problem. Reasons or bias for a website or organization can be to sell a product. Those can often be very obvious, but not always. Another bias or reason behind a website or organization can be to achieve a political end or to advocate for something. These aren't necessarily bad things. If you can determine who's behind the website or the information, you can better understand the material that they're trying to present to you. A picture is worth 1,000 words, so I just want to show you an example. I'm trained in internal medicine, and my professional organization is the American College of Physicians. A lot of times you'll see in the press it's referred to the ACP for short. There's another organization called the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics is a professional organization for pediatricians who care for children and adolescents. And then there's also an organization called the American College of Pediatricians. So let's take a look at these and try to figure out what's behind these different organizations and websites. So you've landed on a health website. You can get a lot of information from the homepage. You can see here, for instance, here's the homepage for the American Academy of Pediatrics, and here's the homepage for the American College of Pediatricians. The next place that you can go on the website to try to figure out who are the experts behind the organization or webpage is go to the About Us page. Sometimes it'll say About Us, or Who Are We, or Leadership. You can get a lot of information that way. So you can see here's the American Academy of Pediatricians About Us page, and this is the American College of Pediatricians About Us page. One thing that I do suggest that you look for is to try to find a mission statement or goals, because this can really help you understand what the website is trying to do. So it gives you that sense of bias that you just need to apply when you read the content that you're seeing. For example, the mission of the American Academy of Pediatrics is to attain optimal physical, mental, social health, and well-being for all infants, children, adolescents, and young adults. To accomplish this, AAP shall support the professional needs of its members. And then you can go down and see the page. Another organization, on the About Us page of the American College of Pediatricians. The American College of Pediatricians is a national organization of pediatricians and other healthcare professionals dedicated to the health and well-being of children. The mission of the college is to enable all children to reach their optimal physical and emotional health and well-being. To this end, the college has written a number of position statements on matters unique to children and will continue to produce sound policy based upon the best available research to assist parents and society in the care of children. So when you look further on the American Academy of Pediatrics page, you can see a breakdown of the different components that organization is comprised of. Whereas when you scroll down on the About Us page of the American College of Pediatricians, you can see under core values of the college a number of statements such as recognizes the physical and emotional benefits of sexual abstinence until marriage and pledges to promote this behavior as the ideal for adolescents. So right there you can see part of the goal of this website. I'm not saying this goal is good or bad, it just helps you to understand the information that's being put forth. As you can see, sometimes it can be complicated to assess health websites. So to help you, you can go to this resource here for more information.